Welcome to the program all about cars. My name is Ralph Medeiros, and I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center in the north end of New Bedford. And today is a gorgeous day, and we just open up with a happy song. Happy days are here again. And that goes out to Marilyn, who just got out of the hospital. I was talking to her yesterday. God bless her. She was in the hospital for quite some time, and I said, I'm going to play a tune for you. Kind of perk you up, cheer you up. Happy days are here again. And you just heard it. Happy days are here again. Ben Sylvan and his crooners. And the crooners, 1930, right, the beginning of the Depression. So, well, that music does perk you up a little bit on a gorgeous day. Marilyn, I hope you're feeling well today. And I met your daughter yesterday, talking to my son, and it was a pleasure doing business with Linda. Appreciate them coming by. Anyway, you can give us a call here, 996-0500. For those of you who are new to the audience, just to let you know that Ralph's Auto Center is located at 867 Church Street in the north end of New Bedford, right off exit 5 off of Route 140. Very easy to get to, not even a traffic light or a stop sign. Coming in by 140 from the north or the south, doesn't matter. So it's very easy to get to. If you're coming from if you're down in Marion or Falmouth, down that way, you can head up our way. We certainly have a big Cape signal. The signal from BSM reaches very strongly down into the Upper Cape area, and we do a lot of business down that way as well, down in Bourne and Sandwich and Wareham, and we're appreciative of it. But it's all highway, so it's only about 30 minutes from the Bourne Bridge to the dealership, so very easy to get to. You can also get to us much quicker through the internet at ralphscars.com, and check out our inventory. We're a little behind. Andrew has to take some more pictures of cars and put them online, so we've been a little buried in that aspect because it's just a lot of work keeping things moving. I mean, the internet does create more opportunities to do business out of your area for sure, but it's still a lot of work to manage. Nothing's changed in that aspect. It's pushed the horizon out, but there's still a lot of work in trying to keep the website fresh and keep the product updated all the time. It's just the way it works. But Andrew's at the dealership right now, and he can help you if you're in the market for an automobile. We do specialize between $4,000 and $15,000, and with clean cars, nice cars, not snots. We're not into selling snotty cars, meaning beat up, messed up, rusted out. That's cars. That's not what we're in the business for. And we're in the value end of the market. People who just don't want to have a big bill. People who just want to have low payments or write a check for the car. And a lot of people are thinking that way nowadays than be saddled with a car payment for, these days, if you have a 5-year car payment, that's considered on the low side. A lot of them go for 6, 7 years out. And they're paying $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 a month. So it's a big dent on the budget. Now, if you're prosperous and doing well and you get everything else under control, then you can buy a new car and have the payments. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. If your mortgage is under control and your kids are out of the house and they're out of college, what have you, and you get the cash flow, hey, God bless you, enjoy it. Nothing wrong with that at all. But for a lot of folks who just want to, be cautious and frugal, this is a way to get a good quality car from us that'll you more than probably drive your money out of that car for sure, and be ahead of the game. And you'll have generally you're paying less sales tax, less excise tax, less insurance. So it puts you in a better place. Okay, if if you're not into that, I have to have the newest style car out there to have in the driveway. So I think a lot of people are getting away from that type of attitude where they have to one-up their neighbors, and they just want to be able to afford what they have, especially in these times that are, it's still we're still in a lot of uncharted waters right now. Well, we've been here before. It was 80 years ago. That's all. The music I was just playing is an example of it, and that's what it comes to. I'm right next door to Tony's, and they have they used to bring a lot of repossessions, and I used to marvel at how many cars they'd repossess the repo man, and all these new cars that people would have for anywhere from a short time of 3 months out to a couple of years, and they'd lose their cars because they lost their jobs, their overtime, or they just got put into a car. They got oversold, if you will, and they weren't strong enough not to say no, and they got put into a car payment that was way beyond their means to be able to afford it over a period of time. And it's amazing how many of the cars were repossessed were quite expensive cars. Cars that just you just if you're not there, you're not there. You shouldn't be buying these cars and struggling to make the payments, and then you lose the car. So I don't know. It's you just have to be conservative with your budget, and sometimes people's eyes are bigger than their wallets, for sure. Okay, we've got a few callers here. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Hi, are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
Ralph.
Yes.
Chef, Ralph, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy, how are you doing? I called you.
I have bronchitis. In the hospital, I had a fight. I have 2 bones broken in each hand, 5 bones and 3 bones. There's 118 bones. Really not good. So anyway, because you were at my home, you met me, and we've been crossing over for 45 years. Tim Weisberg lives here. So if you can pass the message, give him my number. I'd like a senior roommate, okay? That's all. I just want to pass the message.
All right. I called you today. Didn't answer the phone, so maybe that's why you were in the hospital.
I was in the hospital, yeah. Thank you so much. You can tell I have bronchitis. It's running around. It's running wild.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of bad stuff out there, Ralphie.
So I just want to say God bless you, and if you will be so kind, pass the message to Tim Weisberg, because I know he's in his 30s, and I'm in my late 60s, so if you know a senior in Wareham, I'll share the house. I need a 3-bedroom house. I can need a hole in the head. So, and I'm getting stir-crazy, not talking to a buddy, go fishing, and buy more cars. So, did you call about that Corvette, the 77?
No, I didn't do it.
Auto sales?
They told me you called me, and I called you.
But you're both online, so check out one another's inventory.
All right.
And then tell them you know me, and you cut a deal like that. Every time I buy and sell, he goes, just give me a couple $100. I mean, and he sells at the auction in Brimfield like this. New York Minute.
Yeah.
All right, God bless you.
All right.
Sell some cars, okay? Be entertained. Are you okay and your family, and everyone's okay?
Yep.
Great.
Thank
okay. God bless you. Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
Message. Be so kind.
All right, will do. So, okay. Matt, you heard it. You see Tim more than I do, so lately, very good afternoon to you, caller. Hello.
Hello, Ralph.
Yes.
How you doing?
Hi, Joe. How you been?
I had a triple bypass.
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, about 7 months ago, I had a heart attack, and then I had a triple bypass.
Wow.
So that's why I haven't been calling you too much, because it's kind of busy sometimes. What I'm calling today was about up in Logan. They're having an auction on abandoned cars.
Where's this?
What kind of title do you get on that thing? They give you a bill of sales. How do you get a title?
It's at Logan Airport, I believe.
Oh, they're abandoned vehicles. Yeah,
because about 95 of them.
Yeah, 95. Huh? Wow. Imagine that. Well, the state, if they've confiscated the property, the state probably reissues a new title. And for you to be able to take title, I mean, if this is through this is through the airport authority down there, I guess, Matt, that's doing that.
I believe so.
Yeah, well, they must have to issue a new state title, and they have to get through the registry to do that, and that includes out-of-state vehicles. So, I mean, I'm sure they make an attempt to notify the owners of these vehicles, because they are registered and have titles on them. And if they don't respond in a certain amount of time, I guess they just seize the property and liquidate it. And
so you get title through the registry of motor vehicles.
Well, yeah, you'd have to get title. They'd have to give you that. I mean, they can't, they can't convey the ownership of it without it.
It seems strange that people would go to the airport and leave the car there and never come back for it.
Well,
90 cars? I think it was 90.
Yeah, that's probably over a period of several years, I guess. Well, some people don't. They go on trips, they don't come back, Joe.
Well, you couldn't be able to drive those things away. You'd have to tow them, right? Because you don't have any plates or registration or anything else.
Well, you'd probably, a lot of them, you'd have a problem. You'd have to pay for the car, get the paperwork, and if you're a regular civilian, you don't have a dealer's license, you'd have to come back with tags to put on you, because all kinds of state police around there, and they'll harass you. So
yeah,
you kind of have to watch for that.
When is that? Is that this weekend, that auction?
I don't know personally. Maybe Matt does. I don't know when the auction is.
It's October 17th. So
October 7th.
Next week.
Next week, yeah. So if you want to go up, check it out.
And you have 2 hours to look at the cars, and then
2 hours, huh?
so at 10 a.m.
Okay, so you can go. You got a preview there for a couple hours.
It's cash only.
Cash only.
Cash
Wow.
only.
Wow. So there you go, Joe. Cash
Okay.
only. So there.
Have a good week.
Yeah, they can't be too nice of a cars. I don't think there's any Bentleys there, but okay.
Actually, I have
Thank
a Mercedes,
They're gonna wait.
BMW,
What year?
2009,
Wow. 2009.
91 Isuzu Trooper,
Well, forget that.
Mini Cooper, 2005 Jeep,
Wow. So fairly.
Ford Explorers, things like that.
Wow. Wow.
We'll have to do a live remote.
I know it, huh? Okay. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Ralph.
Hi.
They were talking about the cars at the airport.
Yeah.
Some of them have been sitting there for 6 years.
Yeah, sick that long, huh?
So they ain't too great shape sitting 6 years.
No.
It's all right for a junkyard for parts.
Yeah, a lot of them would probably be.
Yeah.
A lot
But
of them.
yeah, they said about they had the Mercedes. It looks pretty good. In fact, I think it was Tyler Cormier said it looks pretty good. Looks like it needs a good washing.
Well,
Then
yeah.
again, we don't know how long it's been sitting there, you know.
Probably a lot of dealers there coming by
Yeah.
and scoop them up. A lot of people looking for a value. But you'd have to just, like you said, if it's been sitting for 5-6 years.
Yep, some have been since 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're going to need a fair amount of work to bring them back.
Yeah.
Plus, near the water there, the salt water,
Well,
you know,
that's it.
the airport's right there right on the bay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So,
All righty.
Very good. Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hey, Ralphie.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Oh, Billy.
How are you?
I didn't recognize your voice there at first.
You didn't, huh?
No.
Oh,
No. How you doing? Are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I'm feeling better this week than last week.
Oh, that's
My
good.
allergies and sinuses and asthma, caramba. So the nice, clear, cool air today.
Nice
It's a
today.
gorgeous
Very
day.
nice.
Yeah, today's a nice day. It
Yep.
is. Good day to be alive, right? In America.
Oh, I'm having 2 feet in the ground.
Yep. But,
So what's going on?
well, we've been working our butts off, Billy. Andy's been busy selling a lot of cars, and trying to. The problem is finding cars, getting good cars, and getting them through service department. We have a few people starting next week. The week after next week. Next week being the holiday week because of Columbus Day, right?
Yep.
So once we get past that, and we'll get hopefully back into business and get ready for the winter. Got a lot of work to do to prepare. Get the way the Farmer's Almanac is predicting another severe winter. So, well, let's see. I mean, they're talking about. I was reading the Farmer's Almanac last night. It says we're back for another cold, snowy winter.
Well,
And the only good thing
I hope it's wrong.
Yeah. The only good thing we could say is the oil price is down, so if you heat with oil, it should
Yep,
be
you're right.
a little easier to get through the winter. Not that it's going to be that much easier, but it'll be several $100s less, no doubt.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But gas, who knows about gas?
Who knows? It goes up and down, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess this is pretty much the. Well, I shouldn't say that. This week coming, I guess Columbus weekend is like a lot of the antique car shows and kind of get-together shut down this weekend, right?
Yeah, this is it. Down at Plum Corner.
Right.
We just start show tomorrow.
Plum Corner will have it because this is pretty much the end of the season for them.
Oh, yeah. The end of it.
Yep. So some diehards go as far as Veterans
Wow.
Day, but that's not many.
Well, if it's a nice, cool day like this, I don't mind taking them out either.
Yeah. No, today would be.
Salt and snow, and ain't going to hurt them.
Yeah, today's the day to go for.
Yeah, today's a nice day.
Yeah, those engines run well and.
Oh, nice and cool, yeah.
Yeah. Cool days like today, what happens is the air is a little more denser and a cooler day. Although it's reasonably warm out, but on a nice cool day, the temperature's low. You got more oxygen and per cubic foot because the density of the air increases, so the engines are more peppy. Things like that, that the old timers knew this stuff, especially the guys who flew airplanes and had to run machines. They had to understand the basics, the basic metaphysical laws to make these things run,
Well, just like today they have air conditioning in your car. No side windows, no wing windows, nothing. Years ago, you see what they did? Put the wing windows in the front and the back, open the car up. That was like air conditioning back then.
Well, I remember going to Florida with my father when I was a kid, a young guy, and most cars back then did not have air conditioning. And you can have all the vent windows you want open, Billy, but when it's 95 degrees, it's still pretty damn hot.
Well, all I know is if you
And
open
humid,
turn them
especially
in,
going
open
through
that car,
Georgia. Oh, I remember those days very well.
It gets cool.
Yeah, well,
That's early air.
yeah, it was early. Yeah, roll down the window.
Early air.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing though. You know, we'd drive down, and even before I had my license, we'd be in a typical beach wagon those days. Remember when everybody had beach wagons? If you had
Everybody
kids,
had beach wagons.
if you had kids, and you know, you had no air. You had no air. No big deal. Now today, everybody cries and complains. There's no air conditioning. I mean, it's just something you just
Because they're all spoiled.
did without. And
You're right.
Yeah, we'd be down in Miami. It'd be 85, 95 degrees, and you didn't have air. You just enjoyed the heat because it came from the north and it was cold up north, and you just enjoyed the moment. But now it's a different world we're in. It's a different world. So,
Yeah, you're right. Very different.
yeah. So what?
So you got nothing new, huh?
Well, no, we brought a few cars in. We just we've got some trucks we brought in, some quad cabs. I'd have to look them up on my list here to find out. Got a great Ford Fusion. Those are pretty nice cars. I don't. You should drive one of those, Billy. Next time you stop by, yeah. But I got an '04 Dodge Ram quad. Can't speak this morning. Quad cab, SLT, 4-wheel drive. That's a nice ride. Mileage is reasonable for that. It's I don't think it's been priced out though yet. Well, I think it's around 12,000, just under 12 grand. Trucks are expensive. The new ones are quite pricey nowadays. So the old ones have been holding their value if they're in good shape. If they're rusty and all that, forget it. But if they're a clean truck with reasonable mileage and they're not beat up, they're worth some good money.
Yeah, you're right.
It's kind of like boats. You know, when you look at boats, you look at a new boat, you almost die when you see the pricing. And the used ones, you know, they hold their value. You know, just everything's getting out of whack. You know, it's money's going down. Not that the prices are going up, but
Printing the paychecks, they go down, not up.
right. That's true. But I got a nice 2012 Ford Fusion. That's priced under $12,000 and only has the mileage is in the 50s. Got an 01 Jeep Wrangler sports package, 47,000 miles. That's 12,999, just under 13. And the mileage is only 47,000 miles on an '01. That's exceptionally low.
I would say so.
Yeah. '05 Chevy Impala, 71,000 miles, priced at under $6,000. That's a good value for somebody. Real good value.
What happened to that Chrysler?
Which one?
In the showroom.
It's still there.
Oh, it is, huh?
300 Chrysler. That's a beautiful car. '06 300 Chrysler in the ivory color, the cream color.
Yes.
Yeah, loaded. Priced at under 16. The car's only got under 15,000 miles, like brand new. And I have a new one outside the door that can look at it. It's 50,000 for the replacement for that car in a 2015. So that's a very good value for somebody who wants a nice ride at a very, very reasonable cost. And the car is immaculate. It's I can't describe it any other way to say it's still in the wrapper, Billy. It's like brand new.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at it.
Yeah, we're just under 15. That car is really, it's a man's car. I hate to say, used to have people say, oh, I'm not being sexist when I say it. It's that kind of car. A guy walks up and goes, wow, what a piece of machine. You know what I mean? No, you look at it, you can tell. It's those cars in the future are going to be, well, that typical car like you're looking at there, they're all over 50 grand now for something nice like that in today's money. They're all north of 50. 45 for sure.
Yeah.
North of 45 for sure. But it's just the realities. You know, I marvel at years ago when I was a young fellow, when New Bedford had some industrial muscle still in it, working people could buy cars like that without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Some would pay cash, some would have and then back a few decades back, if you finance for 24 months, most people didn't want to go past 2 years in financing a car.
A big
Remember
on
that,
for 3 years then.
Yeah, but 3 was like, oh my God, 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
That was a big one. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, years ago, if you finance the car for 2 years, people, I don't want to really do that, but okay. They would do it, and the payments were much more reasonable. And 3 years was like, oh my God, 3 years to pay for a car. I just have a hard time dealing with that. Now you look at it, and like 5 years is considered on the young side.
Yeah, 6 sometimes.
Oh, 6, 7 bill on new cars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts. And what they're pushing now is leases because people can't afford to buy them.
Yeah,
So they do the lease because you do a 2-year lease and you don't really buy the car, and the payments are far more reasonable. But of course, you're kind of like renting the car, and at the end of your lease, you don't own it. You walk away, or you can buy it and refinance it. And so you refinance it for 5 years, so so the payments now are more reasonable, and then you're into the car for 7 years. So when you figure it all out, on the personal side, income has not increased in a net sense. So,
nope.
What it means.
I mean, for the top people, yes, but for just ordinary, everyday person, no.
To put it simply, we've all gotten poorer.
Yes.
Okay, so we've gotten poorer, and we have to analyze why we've gotten poorer. So everybody wants to, I heard President Obama talking about wages and inequality of wages and all this, and I'm marveled at his speech that he has the Tanakas to get out there and talk about these things. And what has he done to alleviate this in the past 7 years? His policies have done nothing but to create a wider gap. It's amazing when you see these guys and the way their messages. I hate to sound cynical, but it's just the way it is.
Well, I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about carburetors and fuel injection.
Okay.
What is the difference, and when did it change from one to the other?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Carburetors, well, I know, speaking for carburetors, when I was a AMC Jeep dealer, we had a carbureted vehicle. It was like we were kind of like a dinosaur in the industry. We had one right up to 1991. The Jeep Wrangler had a carburetor on their Wranglers, the Jeep Wrangler, the 4.1 AMC engine. 4.1 liter. It had a carburetor, downdraft, and after that they went to all electronic fuel injection because of the emissions and the laws. But I think we were AMC. In my mind, I think was one of the last in a light vehicle to still have a carburetor in it. And they, carburetors, as you well know, Billy, were always kind of a little bit of a headache, especially when they started putting emission controls on them. They would go off candor quite a bit, and they had to be adjusted. And then lots of times they would seal the adjustments. You had to pop the little metal plates out of them. You remember those little plugs they used to put in to keep you from keep you from adjusting the high.
Right.
And
But I know, but carburetors still was somewhere in the 80s. Chrysler still had them.
Well, yeah, but Jeep ran it till 91.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and a Jeep Wrangler and a 4.1 liter.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think I unless someone out there knows of another model that ran it later than that. I don't know of any other major manufacturer that was making.
So that was still Chrysler at that time.
No.
Yeah, 91.
Oh, 91. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was Chrysler.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah, that's right.
Still running it.
No, you're right. They went in 87.
Because 88 was the last year of the AMC Jeep.
Yeah,
And
Chrysler took
them
over.
out.
Chrysler bought it in 87.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was still carburetor. Chrysler still was running them.
Up
Because
until
they had the Jeep too.
Up until 91. Now, I don't know
Yeah.
about Chrysler cars, though. I don't think LeBarons had carburetors in 91, did they? I think they all went to throttle body. Throttle body injection, which was basically they took the carburetor out and they just put one humongous injector, electronic injector, where the carburetor used to be, and put a basic simple computer to run it. And that was the first foray into fuel injection, basically called throttle body. Fuel injection, meaning one big injector and taking the place of the carburetor, which was somewhat more efficient. And then they come out with sequential fuel injection, meaning each cylinder had its own injector, which is today pretty much throughout. It is no.
Remember, each plug, each cylinder had its own.
Right.
Yep.
Right. No, but I mean, other companies like Volkswagen, I was working on those cars in the 60s. And I started working on fuel injector cars in 68, which was a marvel when I first saw them. All Bosch electronic fuel injection, which is really nice system. I mean, that was my first exposure to it, and a lot of mechanics back then saw that, and they said, "Oh, I ain't going to work on these cars. These cars, this is nuts." They said, these guys are crazy. Who the hell's going to work on these cars?"
Yeah.
And there was a technical divide there, to say the least. But I liked them. They were nice machines. Used to run them into fastbacks, the squarebacks, Type 1s, Type 2s, and not the Beetle. The Beetle didn't have fuel injection until the 70s. They had carburetors right until, I think, till the mid-70s. Then they went to fuel
I don't think they make any more carburetors, do they?
Well, I think they do in third world countries, places like India.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I don't think we get in the States.
No, I don't think there's carburetors on pretty much anything, with the possible exception of maybe some huge... maybe some, even trucks, Billy, maybe some marine engines.
Think so?
Yeah, marine engines had stayed with carburetors. I think a lot of carburetor on marine power plants, although they're going to fuel injection now, but a lot of them were still carburetor-driven, carburetor-fed engines, yeah.
Well,
so that's the way it goes.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Now we know. Everybody knows what it's like.
Well,
when it started and when it stopped.
It's probably tough to find a good carburetor guy today, especially to work on a quadrajet. You know what I mean? Like the old Caddies or the Pontiacs with the quadrajet carburetors. Yeah. To find somebody with that knowledge. It's kind of like...
the old times are all gone, probably.
Yeah. Well, there's a few out there, but... Yeah, and because it is like working on a watch. And, all the way they're put together, all the little clips, springs, balls, and needle valves, and all these little things that they have in them. It is like very precise work. It's not, you can't just slam them together. So
to make them run right.
No, right. Yeah. No, carburetors is, it's a little bit of a science to it, to say the least. Because, and you have to, and especially if you understand how they work, the theory of it, the mixture of fuel-air ratio and temperatures, and there's a lot of science to it. Huh?
You get different make of carburetors.
Yeah. Well, they're still being manufactured, Bill.
Yeah.
There's still some guys who build hot rods and they put carburetor on them.
Put a carburetor on it?
Yeah, a lot of them. You can go by Edelbrock high-rise intake manifolds, and they'll put some carburetors on there, the new versions, and they're out there. Absolutely. Yeah.
I probably better want that fuel injection for sure.
Not everybody. Some guys keep them retro.
Oh, okay.
And also, you don't have to deal with electronics. They're pretty simple. Sometimes they put the most electronics on the carburetor is what? They'll put a electric heater element for the choke rather than use off the heat off the manifold. Remember how?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember how they used to take the heat off the engine intake manifold?
Right.
And it would heat up a little bimetal coil, which in turn would open the choke.
It would open that choke up. You're right.
It was the way of doing it then. The old timers. When you look how they just managed the systems for the technology that they had at the time. It was quite interesting. It was quite interesting to see it. But,
well, all right. Ralphie,
Billy.
I'll catch you later.
All right, thank you.
I'll stop by next week.
All right.
Yep, bye-bye.
Good to hear you. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, I talked to you a few minutes ago about the cars at Loken for auction.
Yeah?
They all have no keys.
No keys?
No keys. So I don't know.
Well, that's a royal pain, huh?
Unless they can get a master key to open it up and to look at it.
Well, what happens is... You have to get the VIN number.
Yeah.
You have to go to the dealer.
Yeah, I meant to mention that to you. All of them have no keys at all.
So pretty much you're going to go there with a flatbed and haul them out.
That's it. Okay.
So they'll go at a big discount, I'm sure.
Yeah. All righty.
Right there. Thank you. Well, no keys, I can tell you, is a problem because I'm in the business, and when you lose a set of keys, it can get very expensive on some of these cars. And for instance, a Volvo key, to have a key programmed and cut on a Volvo, a typical key could run you $225. And they're not the most expensive. You can go north of that very quickly. I've seen one key go for over $300, some even higher. But the average key with a programmed chip in it, without the remote built into it, okay? So a chip key programmed to your car that allows it to start. They generally run you around $80, 180 to $120 in that ballpark for the simple key programmed to the car. And if it's a special cut key, some cars like the Volkswagens and the Mercedes, they have and even the Buicks and all that, they're specially cut keys. It's not like a traditional key when you look at it with the teeth cut top and bottom. These are kind of like almost like an engraved cut if you see it. Those they run substantially more. So keys today, although now keys are going the other way. It's amazing how fast things come and go. Now your remote means everything. It's basically you have your remote, you get into your car, or if you walk up to your car, you get the little black button on the handle, and you touch the little black button on the rubberized button on the door handle, and the door's unlocked because you have the remote on you. It senses that, so it thinks that you're the owner, or knows that you're the owner, or assumes that you're the owner, and then unlocks the doors. You get in, hit the starter button, with your foot on the brake, the car starts up. So all you need is the remote now. You don't have to have any keys cut. Some of the remotes have a little key that is cut, but it's that cut just to open the door. So I guess if your battery goes dead or it's real weak, it'll let you get into the car. There's only one key slot with tumblers there. The other passenger side, they don't put tumblers there any longer. It's just a door handle. There is no key slot. Okay, so they've taken all the keys out, all the tumblers that you put the key into. They're all removed except for one, which is the driver's door. So a lot of changes on these newer machines. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Hey.
Hey, comrade.
Comrade Vladimir, how are you?
The Russians are flexing some military muscle there in Syria.
Yeah, well, it's a power play for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's on we go, right? The world's an interesting place.
That's going to end up it's going to start a World War III, I tell you.
Well, I guess let's hope we don't get there. But the world is kind of a mess when you look at what's happening. You have it's ironic when if you sit back and if you look at these things and you try to be critical without just bringing emotions into it, but you look at Europe as being Islamified, so their Caflate, what do they call it? The Caflate is taking place without really aggressive action.
You know, we always emphasize the Middle East and what's going on there. We've got a nutcase there in North Korea. What's to stop that idiot from launching a weapon?
China will stop him.
Well, also is North Korea. They can put. I mean, they can put balloons up in the air, and they'll go up to 30,000 feet. They can put anything in those bombs. And I believe Japan did it in World War II.
Yeah, they did.
And
they had a few.
But they weren't dirty bombs. They were, I don't know what they were. They were some kind of device that didn't go off. But the jet stream from where they are comes this way, east.
Yep.
If this madman wants to attack our coast, I guess he would have probably already done it by now.
I wouldn't worry about
anything else is rhetoric.
I wouldn't worry about Kim Jong-un. I mean, he's on a tight leash with the Chinese. If he gets out of hand, the Chinese will pull on the leash and they'll quiet him down.
No, I'm sure.
They just use him to agitate us. But as far as his military power and all that, he's just like a pimple on the elephant's ass. I mean, he's not gonna. Where's he gonna do? Where's he going to go? I mean, the South Koreans are probably far better armed and equipped than they are.
The South Koreans could obliterate them.
Well, we have 40,000 men there too.
Yeah, our technology given to the South Koreans could obliterate them, and they're little people. Our U.S. Marines, 21-year-old kid can take on 20 North Koreans and snap their necks like twigs.
Oh, listen. You're watching too many movies.
Oh.
That isn't the way it's going to work, my friend. They're tough fighters.
Chuck Norris.
We lost enough boys in Korea and we were fighting the North Koreans and the Chinese, and we lost over 50,000 troops, and they were brutal battles, and our boys, we paid a supreme price there in Korea.
You ain't kidding, they were.
So I mean, they're tough fighters, and actually, you know, if to look at, if you think about what you said, if we had a draft today. Think about this. If we had a draft today, most of these young men, and now I guess if you're going to draft a woman, if that's, you know, everybody wants equality, so if we draft a woman too.
I wouldn't mind being in the trench with a woman. At least, you know, gives you something to do.
No, I wouldn't want to be in a trench with a woman.
No?
No, absolutely not. Not during wartime.
No.
I want to survive and get out of it than think I'm going to have sex and get stabbed or run through with a bayonet. No, I think I'd rather be paying attention to business.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Distractions.
Right. So I think I'd rather be pay attention to business. But if we had a draft today, young people today, so many of them are so out of shape, so overweight, and going up against the North Koreans, I think we'd be slaughtered. I mean, and all things being equal now, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You don't drop any one huge bomb.
Those
or
North
anything.
Koreans, they train every day. The youth train every day. You put one of our youth in there, you know what he'd do in the trench? He'd take out his iPhone and figure out, how do I fight the battle?
Well, the first day he went out without food or a couple
Have
of
you
days.
seen the youth now? Oh, I don't know how to do it. So he whips out his iPhone and he Googles it. How do you do it?
Well, if he gets that far, maybe he'll figure it out then. If he's using tools, I mean, if he has, you know, the energy to do it. No, but the North Koreans are just the North Koreans are, you know, the Chinese let them do a few things that put pressure on us, just like we put pressure on them through Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll send Taiwan some new arms, and we'll say we want Taiwan to remain keep their independence, and that infuriates the Chinese. So they, in turn, you know, do things to incite us with North Korea. It's just tit for tat.
Let me ask you a question. Our government, we go around the world and we basically say humanitarian effort. This is why we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Now, I talked to a guy. He's probably close to late 70s. No, I would say he's got to be in his 80s because he fought in the Korean War as a South Korean.
Yep.
And he joined the liberating, I believe it was it Seoul? They liberated the U.S. Army. They pushed out the North Koreans out of Seoul.
Okay.
He, till this day, is still disturbed on, he said, there are 30-year-old men walking around in North Korea. They have the body of a 12-year-old as far as bone structure because they're being starved to death.
Well, I guess a lot of the common people have had, during times of famine, have starved, yes. And I know in the prison camps, there's an excellent book for people out there you can read. I've read it. It's called Camp 14.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely worth a read. This is no one. There have been no known survivors other than this man who escaped from Camp 14, and just to survive in these North Korean prisons are very, very brutal place. In Camp 14, there are no known survivors. Usually, you do not get out of there.
Wow.
But you have to read just how despotic it is, and you know it's basically what. You know, it's what a socialist state takes you to, a communist state. Tyranny, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the people, and a lot of the people who try to escape North Korea go through China and try to get to South Korea, where they come in as refugees, although they're looked upon very cautiously because sometimes they don't know if they're a spy from North Korea. I would suggest, I don't know if you're into those studies, but...
Oh, I love history.
Well, you can go online and read, or go on and stream.
History.
You can go online and read some North Korean newspapers. They translate them to English. I've read them. It's interesting to read their propaganda and how rabid they are.
What kind of cars do they drive over there, Ralph?
Mostly Chinese-built stuff.
Oh.
Because the Chinese give them a lot of foreign aid. Without Chinese aid and support, they would probably collapse. Right. They're quite industrious, though, if they were to have freedom of the mind. But the society is essentially brainwashed.
Oh, you ain't kidding. They just had our reporter, I forgot what channel was in there, one of our national correspondents, and I guess it's the celebration of the Kim Il-jung.
Yep.
And of course, the woman says, she loves him, and well, of course, she said she didn't. You know where she's going to be going?
Yeah, well,
an internment camp,
right?
And her whole family. So, of course, and you noticed the reaction from the people. They didn't want to engage this reporter at all, like he wasn't even there, like he was a ghost.
Really?
Yeah, it was incredible. I forgot, it was a correspondent. They reported on North Korea actually last night, and it was pretty interesting how he tried to engage somebody in the public, and they wanted no part of him.
Well, no, not. They probably would talk to him, but if you're caught or you're observed,
right,
talking to a foreigner, especially a reporter, you don't want to be on that list if you're not pre-approved to talk, because
they'll knock on your door. Your whole family's going away.
You have no idea. You have no idea. But this is really nothing new. The Nazis would be the same way if they caught you and you're a dissident or you're
collaborating with the enemy.
Absolutely, the infidel. Yeah, you'd be into. You'd have some serious issues. So this is nothing new. We sometimes take our basic liberties here for granted.
Oh yeah.
So.
You have to get a taste of other cultures and other parts of the world before you can begin to really appreciate our liberties in this country.
Well, our liberties here, though, are being
eroded.
Absolutely. I had looked up possibly taking a trip to North Korea. Everybody thought I was nuts, but I do like to study different cultures.
Yeah.
And it's to show you how they look at Americans or treat us. You cannot buy or get your visa and all that and pay in U.S. dollars. You can pay it in euros or yuans. They won't accept dollars. So you have to convert. So it's an inconvenience. They make you convert your currency. And it costs more as an American to go there.
Wow.
Yeah, so they, I guess you can go there and a guided tour, but you got to be very careful. They've thrown a lot of Americans in prison. You go in there with Bibles, you try to pass out Bibles, you're going to be in a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah.
So when I look at Kim Jong-un, the son, and he's in his Mao suit, and you look at him, he's obese compared to his people. If you look at the rest of the North Koreans, have you ever observed that?
I'm sorry, go ahead, say again.
Have you ever observed, looking at him and his other his army officers around him?
Yeah, they stand at attention. Their hat is bigger than their whole body.
Yeah, but he's obese compared to them, so he eats very well.
Yeah, he eats very well. He likes his liquor.
Yep. Got to let you go. I got another call.
All right, Ralphie.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Very good afternoon. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Hello. You got to turn your radio down. Hello. You got to turn your radio down. Hello. Oh, they got the. Hey, I'm going to give a few seconds to get to the phone here. I'm going to let you go. Hello. Okay, we got to let him go. Drop that call. Okay. We're almost at the top of the hour. We got time to sneak a song in? I don't know. Close? What do you got queued up? We got Ozzie Nelson. Let's play a tune. We'll catch you on the side of the news. Okay. All about cars. We'll catch you on the other side of the hour. Okay, welcome back to the second hour of All About Cars with Ralph Medeiros. We're located at 867 Church Street in the north end of New Bedford, just off Exit 5 off of Route 140. If you know your way around the city, you can certainly get to Church Street and just, head up Church Street and go past the Polish Monument where the howitzer is, and the Honeydew and Paul Pelletier's on the right-hand side heading north on Church. And you just go up about another, about 3/4 of a mile, I guess, from there, and we're on the left-hand side. And beside us is the new Dollar General, and then you have Webb and Regal House. Webb Plumbing and Heating and Regal House. So very easy to get to, especially if you're coming off of 140. Exit 5 puts you on Church Street. Head down Church Street. We're on the right-hand side, just over half a mile down the road. There we sell quality used automobiles, and primarily priced between $4,000 and $15,000. And we do sell more expensive cars. We bring them in for people, and sometimes stock them as well. But we try to stay to our mission and stay in that range. And quality cars, no floods, no wrecks, no totals. We're not into that. No major accidents, no frame damage. We don't buy cars with branded titles, as they call them. We tend to buy cars with lower mileage, clean, and no or minimal amount of rust. And we service them out thoroughly. So we put the money in before we take your money. A lot of places just want to take your money. They put as little as they have to in the cars. But safety to us is important, and making sure the cars, the brakes are good, and the rotors are good, and the brake lines, and we, bring these cars into shape before you take them. So we try to minimize comebacks. That's the key. So that takes an investment in the car to make it happen. It just doesn't happen automatically. It doesn't happen through osmosis. You have to be involved. You have to be proactive and service these cars out thoroughly. And it's more than just making them look good. When you walk up to the car and say, gee, the car looks clean. Well, yeah, it may look clean because dealerships will spend all kinds of money to make these cars clean looking. But it comes down to also taking, the wheels off, so to speak, and inspecting the car, checking the brakes and the rotors and all the other equipment with the car, changing the oil, checking the coolant system, transmissions, going through these machines so that when you get it, the odds of you having a problem are radically reduced if the car is serviced properly. And all you have to do is go online and read dealerships or used car lots reviews, and you get an idea of who tries to, play by the rules, if you will, or practices what they preach. And I tell people that all the time when you're doing your research. Look up the places you're going online. If you do have a computer and you do get online, and today you almost have to read the reviews of these dealerships. And not just dealerships, whether you go to restaurants, what have you. That's and now, some of those reviews are kind of like, they can be salted. People call in and give their own views. The company will try to manage their reviews to try to look better than they probably really are, because some facilities have such bad reputations that they try to take the stink away by hiring companies, actually, to massage the reviews. So, but when you see an overwhelming amount in for or against, it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. So, but we do service and sell all makes of models of cars also. We service, it doesn't matter, BMWs, Mercedes, Chevys, Minis, Saabs. We service all makes and models. We do everything but warranty work, and we can help you with any of your service needs. Ulysses runs the service department. We still run specials on our oil change with $19.99, 5 quarts of semi-synthetic oil with a new filter. And we also top off your fluids, anything that's low. And $19.99 plus tax and disposal is a super deal for using quality oil and filters. And we offer synthetics, synthetic oil changes you can get done for under $50. And you can, depending on how you use the vehicle, you can upgrade your filters if you feel your vehicle is put to more severe use. For instance, guys who snowplow, for instance, would probably put a better quality filter in the car because they're running these engines hard, and they want to put everything in favor and try to protect the engine. So no different than you going out and shoveling snow. You have to dress kind of warm and, be prepared for the weather. Okay? And same with these machines. You're going to get out what you put into them. So if you don't put anything into them, you're not going to get much out of them. So, there's no shortcuts to life and to making these things run longer. Now that we're coming into fall, you should consider giving us a call to have your car serviced to be put in tip-top shape. Don't wait till the last minute. Then everybody's saying, wow, you can't get me in like today or tomorrow. Last minute is last minute. And especially if you have some problems. And I know people don't want to spend the money sometimes. Well, fine, but your cars, they don't run for nothing. No machine does, including your own body. You have to feed it and take care of it. And your car's no different. And now that we're heading into fall, and most people, like these days, neglect their cooling systems. Because in the old days, I can remember people, oh God, in the cold days, they'd be out there changing the antifreeze as part of their chores every year. Well, you don't do it every year now. People just don't do it. Some manufacturers say that their coolants last for 5 years. Some even say 100,000 miles or 10 years, which is probably the extreme end of the spectrum of expecting the coolant to last that long. And what happens is it may have some temperature protection still left into it, meaning it won't freeze at 32 degrees. And it'll probably, when you test it, might be good for 0 or 10 below. Who knows? But the other chemicals break down. The rust inhibitors, the lubricants. There's a lot more to antifreeze than just keeping the water from freezing in the mixture. And this is how you run into problems with water pumps and and scaling and rust and affecting your coolant system, your radiator. And this is why your coolant should be flushed on a regular basis. At least I would say it's wise to do it at least every 3 years. All right, now that's being pretty moderate. Most times, some people recommend every 2, but depending on how you drive. But if you haven't done it in 3 years, by all means, it's something to consider. We do coolant flushes. They're under $100, less than that. I think it's around $79. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can call Ulysses. He runs the service department. He can help you in that. But now, like tune-ups, if you don't have a good set of ignition wires, your wires are all cracked, and if you start to arc and engine skips and your engine light comes on, we're coming into the rainy season now and the cold weather. Tires are another thing to prepare for these heavy rains. I was driving home. It was last night, actually. It was raining pretty hard there. We had some showers. And I had the vehicle I'm driving now. I'm driving one of those, German Volkswagen diesels. Actually, the thing runs absolutely amazing. It's a Golf diesel I'm driving. It's a real nice machine. I'm impressed at its performance and fuel mileage. I don't know how much more they say it pollutes more because it's not meeting the environmental standards, but the car looks like it's running quite amazingly clean to me. I don't know. I think they built quite a machine. They really do. Very sophisticated little car. But in the rain, I have new tires I just put on this car because I'm testing it out, and it handled very well. And when you have tires that are pretty worn in the rain, you're going to be more apt to slide and skid around, especially if you slam your brakes on. So now's the time to think about safety, to protect yourself or your family, and to avoid being in an accident. And there are so many people driving around the city here with tires that are basically illegal. They're down to beyond the threads. Okay, I've seen them down to the canvas. It's amazing, and they're a risk to themselves, but also to you. So if you don't have good tires to have good handling on your car to avoid accidents, then you're putting yourself in jeopardy. Bad enough you have to worry about the other guy. But we do have some excellent tire sales we run. Okay, we beat the big guys. We beat the big chains. And very competitive. We sit down and try to find what your needs are, and not just, buying the cheapest tire isn't the answer all the time, okay? The cheapest tires have, you get what you pay for, essentially. So you just need some good, you have to be, you need some consulting back and forth to find out what's the best deal for you, okay? Now, if you're just in the city, you don't go far, you do your groceries, you might go to the pharmacy or doctors or go see some friends, relatives, and go home, you don't do much commuting, then fine. A good value, inexpensive tire could do well by you. But if you're doing more serious commuting and things like that, then you have to have different advice. And unfortunately, most people who advise you on tires don't usually give good advice. Anyway, let's just take this caller here right now. A very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, Jay.
I noticed something the other day, which somebody riding on the downtown connector coming from 195.
Yeah.
On one of those little spare tires.
Oh.
Which you're not supposed to go over 35 with, doing 60.
Yeah. I think they rated most of them not much past 55.
And when I saw that, I got as far back as possible because you're asking for a blowout.
Well, there's no tread on those tires if you look at them.
No,
right.
They just need to get you to a garage somewhere where you can fix a flat tire.
Right, exactly.
I mean, how many people don't know that?
Well, people are oblivious, Jay. We're dealing with a society that people just go around, most people go around in a very unconscious manner.
I guess.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, thank God for this subconscious mind, which is about 90% of your mind. 10% usually occupies your ego, if you will, your conscious mind. But most people are on cruise control, and it's just, I don't know. It's must be the GMOs, maybe. I don't know.
You know, you have to wonder. I mean, on a city street, okay, so you have to get to a garage. You got a flat tire, fine. But not doing 60 on a highway.
I know. We're talking a different generation, you know, and until something happens. You know, I saw a car, if you can believe this, with 2 spare temporary tires on it.
Oh, very good.
2, okay? What's better than 1?
Well, yeah, you're asking for 2 blowouts.
Yeah, 2. And there's a lady driving. I said, I can't. But people are desperate. Some have the resources. Many don't. So
I mean, you could go into a used tire place and get a better tire than that spare.
Well, yes, this is
Even
true.
Even if you only paid $20 for it.
Yeah. Well, most of used tires like $40, $40, $50, you know, depending on the size and all that. But
right.
Yeah.
But you know, when you see things like that. And then, you know, this. What do you think of this new law that makes it illegal, if it passes, to even have a cell phone up to your ear?
Yeah, isn't that being advocated by our local state representative, Strauss?
There are several co-sponsors.
Was he the main?
No, it was somebody up
Boston?
from the North Shore who.
So he wasn't a co-endorser. I thought he was one of the main advocates for that.
No, he may be a co-sponsor, but I don't think he's one of the main advocates. But you know something? After I read the article in the Standard Times about the driving test that they did at Voltec, which was a driving simulator, and they had some people texting and some people on the cell phone. Guess what? They all crashed.
Yeah, well, it's today's, you know, it's just the distractions are out there, to say the least.
I mean, there is no lack, nowadays, there's no lack of parking lots. You want to text? Fine. Go into the Stop and Shop parking lot and text to your heart's content. Don't do it on the road.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
because all it takes is 2 seconds. You look down, you look up, and the car's right there. And you're not going to stop.
Well, when you start to do the math, Jay, for instance, the simple math, at 60 miles an hour, you're traveling 88 feet a second.
Right.
88 feet a second. So, you know, when you start to digest that, so by the time you see something on the highway, I mean, how long does it take it to hit your brake pedal? You know, a second?
Yeah, and how long is it going to take it to stop?
Right. So, you know, when you multiply that and you're doing 70, 80, 100, 90, today on a highway, 80 miles an hour is really nothing. I mean, a lot of people driving 80.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people driving 80, 85.
That's right. Easy. I would say 70 is almost like slow. 70.
Right. I don't think a long time ago I used to deliver stuff out of town, and coming back, I would be coming back down 24, and, you know, I wasn't going fast, but I was going fast enough so I wouldn't get rear-ended, and people were passing me doing 100.
Yeah.
They had to be. The only time they straightened out into a nice lane, straight line, was when we came by the state police barracks.
Yeah. Well, even the police don't. If you're going like 75 or less, they pretty much leave you alone, unless you're in a 35 mile an hour zone. I'm talking the highway now.
But you know, but if you're going at that speed, the time it takes you to react and then stop, it's going to carry you a long distance.
That's why people have accidents. They don't
Yeah.
understand. They don't understand. They don't understand how they're driving these machines. They don't understand the dynamics, and that's why
A friend of mine was telling me his son, and he was driving F-150. Luckily for him, in Connecticut, he was going down. Down. I don't know if it was the Connecticut Turnpike or not, but he was going pretty fast. And the car in front of him decided to go on, get off the highway. Well, the woman turns on her signal. I guess it was a woman. Yeah, it was pretty much a woman. Turns on her signal, starts to go up the ramp, up to the off-ramp, and then changes her mind.
Huh.
And decides, this is the wrong ramp, and comes back onto the highway. He had to change lanes without signal, without anything, in order to avoid sideswiping her.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, I see stupid acts pretty much every day I'm on a highway. You just or driving around the city. It's I was going.
Oh yeah.
And I was going down Church Street, and a lady pulled a U-turn right in front of those condos there before the on-ramp. Phillips Road. You know where the condos are there.
Yeah.
And she pulls a U. I thought she's turning into the condos, and she doesn't. She pulls a U-turn there, jams up, and that area is getting real busy now. Jams up the whole traffic there. So I hit the horn at her. I say, "Lady, you just created." She throws me a finger. I mean, today it's just welcome to New Bedford.
Welcome to. I saw a person the other day pull a U-turn on Hathaway Road.
And it was totally, the way she did it was a total mess. It's one thing if you did a nice sweep and it was quick and there's nobody in front of you and back of you and you didn't, create a whole major traffic jam. It's just this total disregard. It's just
even my wife said that's a nice place to make a U-turn.
I see things breaking down. Like, for instance, you ever notice people the way they ride bicycles today?
Yeah, they don't stop for stop signs or red lights.
But they also drive on the wrong side of the street.
Well,
they're not going with traffic. They go against it. It's like we've turned into a third world nation in the last 5 years. When you see that. Nobody knows the rules of the road. I mean, it's like chaos. It's chaos out there.
I don't think people on bicycles understand that they're supposed to stop at red light.
And they're supposed to go with the flow of traffic, not against it. Okay, they're supposed to go with the flow and not against it. And if you pull out of an intersection and they're coming up and they're going against the traffic, you don't see these people. I mean, it's just. And then the mopeds now, you see all these little mopeds because we're turning into a third world city here. And in the warmer months, you see these little mopeds, and they drive around as though they're fully registered and insured vehicles, and they're not. Most people who drive the mopeds.
No, they're not.
The only insurance they have is Mass Health.
Right, exactly.
Okay? That's the only insurance they have. And they're driving these vehicles in the middle of the road. They're acting like, and they're supposed to be topped out at maximum 35 miles an hour, these vehicles. So, and they're driving around in the center lanes. They're supposed to be on the side of the lanes as a moped, as a motorized bicycle.
Yep.
But they drive these motorized scooters as though they're fully registered vehicles. It's just like, welcome to, here we are, Mexico City.
Oh, by the way, before I go, I had, you're familiar with the program Nova?
Yes.
Okay, there might be an episode that you might want to watch. It's called The Secrets of Noah's Ark.
Ah, okay.
Now, the original Noah's Ark flood story is based on an ancient Babylonian story called the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Uh-huh.
Well, apparently they dug up somewhere a stone stela that gave the dimensions. Well, they reconstructed one. And come to find out, Noah's Ark, I don't know about Noah's Ark, but the original thing was not shaped like a ship with a bow and a stern.
Uh-huh.
It was more oval, like an egg.
Yep. Rounded.
Yep. Exactly. And they floated it, and guess what? It works.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, Babylon, I mean, that's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, the Persians have one of the oldest societies in the world, if not the oldest.
Right. I think they said the stela was something like 3,000 years old.
Yeah, they go back at least that, easy.
And they translated it, and it actually gave directions on how to build this thing.
Huh.
And some British archaeologists actually built a replica and put it in the water, and lo and behold, it floats.
Huh. That'd be an interesting story.
You might want to check that out. That was a pretty interesting episode.
All right, I'll check it out. I was just checking out the North Korean Friendship Association.
Oh, the North Korean Friendship Association.
I went to their website because I did research to go to North Korea, and you have to go in through China.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just. There's no direct flights.
You know that.
All my friends are saying, "What are you nuts?" I said, "I like to see this culture, study the culture." Of course, you go there, you have to really mind your P's and Q's.
Study the culture is interesting. Going to a labor camp is not.
Well, yeah, if you step out of line, I guess you could be.
I don't even think it takes them. You know, it takes much stepping out of line. I think if you make pro-American pronouncements in North Korea, that should be enough. I mean, they arrested 3 or 4 American tourists.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They threw them in jail. One of them, I think there's still a couple there on hard labor.
There's a couple still in jail.
Yeah.
One of them is a reverend, but he's American. He's originally from North Korea, but he escaped, years ago.
Well, maybe if I go with Dennis Rodman, Jay, I'll be okay.
I don't even think Dennis Rodman's going back.
Well, I don't know. He seemed to get along with Kim Jong-un quite well.
Well, he was being used, and he was too dumb to realize it.
Yeah. Well, it's you have to go. You know, I look at the posters. Their artwork, their posters, the way they show the dear leader. It reminds me of the Soviets and the Chinese with that communist propaganda.
Did you ever see the crying ceremony?
The what?
To celebrate the death of Kim Jong-un's grandfather, the originator of North Korea.
Right. The dear leader, the founder of the...
Our dear leader, the founder of the state.
Of the People's Republic of China. Yeah.
Yeah. They have a ceremony in which you cry publicly. And if you don't cry hard enough, you get arrested. Oh, that's interesting. You've got people down, they're banging their foreheads on the tarmac, crying, and it's like, what?
A lot of people there, they when they go to South Korea to be debriefed, they just lack emotions. The society is a very sick society due to fear that the state has put on everybody.
I know.
They make the Nazis look like Cub Scouts, you know.
Oh, the Nazis were never as harsh as that. I mean, if you don't cry hard enough, you go to jail. Come on.
Well, the Nazis, they did mechanize murdering people, that's for sure. But
hey, it is what it is. And until you know that Kim Jong-un can't leave North Korea now.
Who can't?
The leader.
Why, he can't get visas to leave the country? What?
Because he shot so many of his generals that he's afraid to leave the country now.
Oh, for having a coup overthrow.
Yeah, he might not have a place to land when he leaves.
Yeah, he got rid of one of his father's advisors too. Yeah, that's. I used to listen.
He got rid of his uncle.
Yeah, get rid of his uncle. I think his wife, one of his wife too. I think he got rid of, or his girlfriend.
He got rid of his one of his military advisors. Shot him with an anti-aircraft gun.
Oh, that's certainly does.
And he got rid of 2 or 3 generals that he thought were trying to usurp his power.
Yeah.
One of these days, the generals are all going to get together and say, "Hey, we're going to shoot him before he shoots us."
Yeah. Well, no, it's a very sick society. Read that book, Camp 14.
Yeah.
Camp 14.
Like book.
It's a quick read. It'll give you an education as to what it's like. Camp 14. This is the only known person to escape from it, and you see how brutal their society is, and what a mess it is. It's just it's probably the most it's one of the darkest country, both physically and in society as well. When you look at satellite pictures, North Korea.
Oh yeah, you've seen satellite pictures. You see a satellite picture of South Korea, and you see lights all over the place.
Yep.
You see a satellite picture of North Korea, and the only light you can see is in the capital city.
Yep, Pyongyang.
And the rest of the country is dark.
Yep. No, it's what the ultimate level of utopia is all about, right?
Oh, sure.
Right. It's that in this communist society that
people falling down on the street because they're starved to death.
Absolutely.
Great place.
Oh yeah, they've had famines due to their communist goals of wheat production and all this. They never meet these, and just like the Soviet Union had great problems feeding its people.
I know.
And China as well. All these socialist type countries, and what's amazing is we're heading more socialistic in this country unless we have.
Well, hey, when you've got a socialist in power, you get socialism.
Yeah, check out their site though. They have some great artwork on there and posters. It's called Korea-DPR.com.
Oh, did you hear the? Now I don't know if you like Donald Trump or not. That doesn't matter. Do you know that the other day they made this huge scandal on CNN, of course, the Clinton News Network, about how this fundraiser, no, it wasn't Donald Trump, it was Marco Rubio.
Uh-huh.
This fundraiser was being held for Marco Rubio in, somebody's house, obviously. And the guy has artwork by Adolf Hitler. Oh, yeah, so what?
Artwork by Adolf
paintings,
Hitler.
in other words.
Well, he did artwork before he was
of course.
Yeah, before
he painted posters.
Yeah, before he was chancellor. Yeah.
And some of them aren't bad.
Yeah. No, he was trying to develop his artistic skills in Austria.
In fact,
when he
he
went to school.
passed the entrance. He took the entrance exam for the Vienna College of Art. And he passed the architectural half with such a high score that they told him, go out and work on the other half, and we'll let you take half the test over again. We'll give you 1 year to come back.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
just imagine if he'd become an artist.
it's a just the way the world works. It's a lot of crazy.
In fact, there's a movie. And I can't think of the name of it, and I watched it. There's a movie, a fictional movie, about this art dealer in Vienna who's trying to help Hitler sell his artwork. And the premise is, imagine if Hitler had become an artist.
Well,
and it's a pretty good movie.
60 million people later, we can't really talk about it, can we?
I know.
Yeah, 60 million, maybe, all the 60 million. That died in World War II.
Yeah.
So, and we're still feeling the repercussions with the realignments because of it. So, and but.
Well, have a good one.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
I'm going to play a tune here. I don't know if Matt has it queued up. There's a. Do you have this queued up here? We'll play part of this, and then I got the other girl I'll play. And. Some of the specials we're running at Ralph's Auto Center in the north end of New Bedford is wiper blades. We can put a new set of wiper blades on most cars for just $14.99. $14.99, that's installed. These blades normally you'd pay $20, $25 for a pair, and you'd have to install them yourself. Or maybe if the person selling them to you is charging you $20, $25, they'll install them. But we can put a good quality set of blades on for most cars at just $14.99. $14.99 plus tax. And some cars have a more expensive blade, but the majority of cars we can help you out. So now as we're getting into the colder, wetter weather, stop by. We can put a set of blades on your car, and you'll be happy for probably a good year ahead, year and a half ahead. Most blades last about a year or so before they start to lose their effectiveness. And a lot of it has to do with the winter, and if your blades freeze to the windshield and then you don't snap them free and you just turn them on and you rip the rubber off the bottom, the wipe. People do that all the time, and they shorten the life of the blades. Another bad thing you can do is, and a lot of people do it, they turn their wipers on when they have a fair amount of snow on the windshield, and they let the blades try to sweep the snow away. And what happens is you stretch out your wiper transmission. Now, the wiper transmission is a mechanism that moves your wipers back and forth. and a little electric motor drives it, of course. In the old days, it was vacuum-driven motors. These are electric motors that run the wiper transmission system. And what happens is after you do this several times, you stretch the system out, and then the wiper blades start to hit the pillars at the top of at the sides of the windshield on the passenger and driver's side, the A pillar as it's known. Or it starts smacking at the bottom of the windshield in front of the crowl area where the air intake is for the heater. And that's a result of you turning on your wiper blades when there's a lot of snow on your windshield. And or if the blades are frozen to the windshield and you turn it on in the system. But more of the damage is truly done when you turn it on and there's a lot of snow in the windshield and you force the wiper blades and the whole system to remove the snow. And you basically shorten the life of your wiper transmission considerably. Some people actually damage them; they have to be replaced. But that's usually not after one event. It takes several. But some of these smaller, lighter cars, their systems aren't as robust as the older systems were. They were heavier built. These new ones are they're designed to work under the most optimum type of conditions. And having a lot of snow, a couple, 3 inches of snow, wet snow on your windshield, is not optimum conditions. So those systems get damaged. They don't have that reserve strength. They're trying to make everything cheaper, lighter today. So when you take it beyond their design capacities, their life is shortened considerably. And then your wallet is thinned out considerably because of this. Okay, here we go. I want to play a little Edith Piaf. Here we go.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche, voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, que ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, l'a juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens dans moi mon cœur qui bat. Des nuits d'amour à plus finir, un grand bonheur qui prend sa place, des ennuis, des chagrins s'effacent, heureux, heureux, en mourir. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans
Okay.
mon cœur.
Now I want to play another version of the song, Anne Carey, and she's going to be at the Z. Like Terry, and they're going to do a, it's a big commemorative towards Edith Piaf. It's this October 25th at the Z. And I got tickets. I'm going to go to that. That ought to be fun. And they're going to have a party after that, so if you're interested in her music, you should probably buy some tickets. There's another, my mic has been on. I hope you've been able to hear me. I'm part on the mic here, the dashboard was down kind of low. But we're back. I don't know if you heard me, but Edith Piaf is they're going to have a special and at the Z on her life and her music. And the gal that's going to perform it in France is Anne Carey, if I'm pronouncing it right, and she's going to do a special there on October 25th. And I bought tickets to go to that, and there's going to be a party afterwards. It should be fun. They told me the show's about half sold out, so as of earlier this week. So if you're interested, you should probably buy some tickets and go. And that ought to be fun here. It's and it's going to talk about. You can go online and look it up, or just get yourself find one of the pamphlets on the Z. But Edith Piaf is going to be her music, and I guess they're going to do some other talks about her life there at this show. So that ought to be good. I looked up the gal who performed, who's doing her work, and she's quite popular in France, and she's performed this throughout Europe, and I guess in the United States somewhat, on doing a review of her music. And then they're going to have a little party afterward. I guess they're going to have some Westport Rivers champagne and things like that there, and French pastries. So it sounds like fun. Okay, got a few calls. You got a lot of lines lit up here. Hi, very good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Ralph.
Hey.
Listen, I see on TV a Toyota dealership over on 44, a 2015 Toyota, $1,500 down and $58 a month. You can't even lease a car for that. Is that some kind of a catch that you might know?
Yeah, you got to read the fine print.
It's got to be something.
Yeah, $1,500 down.
$1,500 down on a 2015 Camry and $58 a month.
This is a brand new vehicle.
Brand new vehicle.
Well, I would tend to say there's something missing in that equation, right?
I would think so. I mean, you can't rent the car for that.
No. 58. You sure it's not a week? It's not a week. 58 a week.
$58 a month.
With only $1,500 down.
With $1,500 down, I never heard of such a thing.
Well, if you read the fine print, they usually include every single rebate. Like if you're a recent college graduate, military service, previous owner. Most rebates, most people don't qualify for all the rebates that they take when they show these prices, and then they get upset when they go there and find out that they're not eligible for $1,500, $2,000 worth of or more of rebates because they're not out of the military service. They're not a recent college graduate. They're not a previous owner of that model or whatever the loyalty. They have all these other different programs, and most people don't qualify for nearly all of them, so the price goes up.
Well, I guess I should just go there and find out exactly what the bottom line is.
Call them. Ask them questions. Call them. See if you can get some straight answers.
Yeah. Well, I called you first because you're pretty knowledgeable.
But where are you reading this? On a paper?
That was on TV.
Oh, TV. Well, the only thing that's lousy about TV is they'll show the disclaimer there for like 2 seconds, and you have to freeze frame it, and even then you can't read it.
Yeah, you can't read the fine print on TV.
No. You'd have to call them and see.
I'm going to call them and...
yeah, I'd call them. Do you have a computer?
Yes.
Well, you can go online and read the blog, see what they rate, how they rate the dealership, see if the ads are truthful, things like that.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
That's where the momentum moves now. So.
Okay, Ralph.
Well, good luck. I mean, if it's.
I'm an older guy, so I'm saying $58 a month. I certainly can afford that.
Yeah.
And $1,500 down, but I figured I'd call you first.
You know what they say? If it's too good to be true.
It's usually not.
That's right. You got it.
Sorry to bother you.
No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye. Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ralph.
Hey, good afternoon.
This is Mark. I bought the
hey, Mark.
Black Wrangler.
I know who you are, Mark.
Yes.
How you doing? I'm doing well. Your Jeep's running well, I hope.
Yes. Just something little I got to have looked at, but I also picked up another one.
Hey, boy.
I picked up a 1989 Sahara.
Wow.
With a plow, 77,000 miles, $4,000.
Well, that's a good deal, huh?
Yeah, and I just left it up there a little while ago, and Ulysses is going to go through it, which he looked at it already anyway. But it needs a power steering box, which I knew, and a front-end alignment.
Okay.
So after he does that, I'll be all set.
Well, good. Well, that's good for you. So we'll try to patch it. How's the body underneath for rust?
Well, it did have it, but the guy reinforced everything with steel.
Okay.
So that's all taken care of.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, we put it on lift. We'll show it to you.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you can take a look at it.
In fact, this guy, he told me that he only bought it for like $4,000, and he was just getting his money back because he used it just for plowing, and he paid $4,000 for it.
Oh. Huh?
And he only had it a couple of years. He used to plow out banks with it, the drive-throughs, because he said it fit right through the drive-throughs nice. So he said he had about 5 banks that he used to plow for.
Oh.
And he did all, like, he just welded on it, which it needed in the like the rear bumper. He reinforced the rear bumper with steel. I mentioned a kit because Danny over at your place said that you can get kits to reinforce the frame. He said, no, I don't go to kit. He said, I'll put raw steel in it.
Yeah, well, we can weld it in.
He took care of all of that.
Yeah, all right, good.
So that's all. Like I say, all I got to do is the power steering box and the front end alignment, and I'll be good to go.
Very good, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for calling me and bringing me up to date.
Oh yeah, it's good to talk to you all the time, and we'll be like I say, we'll continue to do business with you because you guys take care of me over there.
Well, good. I'm glad that you are happy. That's good.
Okay.
We try. Well, you and your dad, we try to take care of you. Guys have been repeat customers, so. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, my dad's really happy with what you did for him.
Well, I'm glad. Yeah, I talked to him about a month ago. And he showed me the radio he put in the car and all that.
Yeah, and see, he didn't realize it, but that place that he had the alarm put in his other one, they installed the radios, and they could get the thing that he needed. Which, if he had known that, he would have gone right to them in the first place.
Yeah.
Because that other guy wanted almost $2,000 or something to put a radio in there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you go. You probably have more callers. I know the show's running short.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll be seeing you.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay. Take care, Ralph.
Bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes. Good afternoon. I have a question as far as defrost the cars.
Yep.
Are there days that it's kind of harder to get a clear view in your front window? Or because there's times that I get clear view, and there's times that I really got to play around with the controller to try to get a decent,
right.
Well,
what counts in most cases when you put your car in a defrost mode, your air conditioner system is working in the background. Even if you have the heat cranked up high because it's winter, it'll call on the the AC compressor, and it'll dehydrate the air in the car, and you'll have warm, dehydrated air, so it clears the windshield up. And sometimes it does take a couple of minutes to get, up and running. Okay, when if your windows are a little steamed up. Especially if you have more than two people.
The rear window's fine, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The front gets a little,
The front, it seems like I've got to...
Especially if you have more than one person in the car. Yep.
Right.
Yep. If that'll be noticed. So, but basically, if like the car I'm driving now, this little Volkswagen, it's quite a sophisticated car. I can put it in a defrost mode, and I can knock off the AC. And a lot of cars, it doesn't give you that option. This car does because the engineers... they just think of a lot of details, and they allow you to knock it off so that you can put less load on the engine and increase your fuel mileage if you don't need it. So that's how they think. But the German engineering is just a different level of engineering, and they just get down to very precise levels here that just most other cars, the engineers don't even get into. So when you get into the math, the madness of the math, you can see it in their cars. And
right.
But you're gonna wait. If your AC is in good shape, your window should defrost in a fairly prompt manner.
Okay.
But if you're having a problem, let us know.
I figured maybe it's because when it rains, it all depends on the moisture in the air. And
oh yeah. But you got to dry it out. But you're talking about the inside where it steams up, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because sometimes I've had it happen where you see a buildup of moisture on your windshield,
right.
But it's on the outside of the window sometimes, because what happens is the inside is colder than the outside, and the moisture outside will condense at the bottom of the windshield. In that case, you have to turn the wipers on. It's a reverse.
Right.
But that's usually...
Yeah, sometimes I do get that.
Yeah.
But it's just to get that clear view,
Okay.
And another thing, speaking of Volkswagen, what do you think the ownership's going to do as far as the emissions on newer cars on diesels? Is it?
Hopefully they'll be able to clean up that mess and also continue selling diesel cars in the United States. They might foster them to get it right and to do it right and to and still allow for diesels to have a minor renaissance, if you will.
I see.
So hopefully
Okay,
it
thanks a
allows.
lot.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're running out of time. I'm going to play with this
Hello?
show. Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's see, we got a problem here. Okay, Matt. Okay. This gal that's, let me see, this Piaf show coming up. Let me play Anne Carey, her rendition of it. We'll play a few seconds because we are running out of time. Go ahead, Matt. She's only 30 years old.
Tes yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche, voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi
Well, you can hear
pour
she's
lui
a
dans la
quite a powerful voice, Anne Carey, and she's going to be at the Z on October 25th. And the tickets are $39, $44, and $49. And a little party afterward. I guess it's put on by a group in the city here. It's only $20 more for the CAF Societe. And it's going to be a PF post party. So it ought to be fun for the listeners out there. And maybe if you're interested, to show up. Sounds like a good time. And right here in New Bedford, as a matter of fact. So, you know. And speaking about New Bedford, the election, it's amazing we have the governance that we have when 92% of the people stay home. It's amazing that everybody knocks the government and how it's run and the people in it and all that. But if you only have 92% of the people stay home and they're not interested in what's happening in their community, that's very telling. That's very telling. It's amazing that we have the representatives that we do. So and everybody's knocking them, but it should be a hell of a lot worse considering that 92% of the people stay home. And it's not just New Bedford; it's the whole country. It's a mess, and it just seems like we're dumbing down, and all the little things like I mentioned, like people riding bikes on the wrong side of the road. There's just chaos. It's just society just doesn't seem to be, I don't know, progressing in a positive sense. Sad. We gotta go. Thank you for listening. Look me up at Ralph's Auto Center in North End of New Bedford. Catch you next week. God bless. Be safe. If you have a problem, look me up about your car. Look me up at Church Street. Thank you.
la jurée.